everybody to our apprenticeship update. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sam and I'm the Learning Experience Manager over at Green King Pub Partners Leased and Tenanted. We are joined this morning by Mel, and Mel has come from Lifetime Training, who are Green King's apprenticeship provider, or chosen provider, should I say, though there are other providers out there as well. So we'll hear all about Mel and what Lifetime can do for us, but also we are joined by Sean. Sean's a partner from the Queen's Head in Pinner, and Sean will give us his thoughts in regards to how apprenticeships have really helped him and his businesses and his team. So without further ado, I'll pass over to Mel. Thanks, Mel.
Lovely. Thank you, Sam. Hello, everybody. Lovely to meet with you all today virtually. But yeah, as Sam said, my name's Mel. I'm from Lifetime Training. I'm the engagement manager and yeah, hopefully a huge support around obviously apprenticeships as to what we can do here at Lifetime. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an update on obviously who we are, what we do in and around obviously apprenticeships. And if anyone's got to go through, please do either just yeah, let me know or as Sam said, pop it into the chat. So we will. Okay, so I'm going to go through a little bit of an introduction as to obviously Lifetime, who we are. I've got a little bit of a slide on the team as well, just so you've got some hopefully some faces, familiar faces possibly, and hopefully going forward you'll have some sort of key contacts to actually see and be able to contact as well as we go through. I'm going to talk a little bit around the apprenticeship offer, so which qualifications, which standards can we actually provide for yourselves and obviously your teams within your sites, how to actually apply, most importantly, so where you actually go if you do have people that want to go onto the programs. We've got some great collateral. Again, I'm just going to go through a little bit of that with you as well, so you can find out where you can find the relevant information. A little bit around recruitment. We know recruitment can sometimes be a little bit of a challenge within this industry generally, so we do offer a fantastic recruitment service whereby we can support there, so I'll talk a little bit more around that, and also talk a little bit around the contributions. So some of you may or may not be aware of the levy, so a government obviously funding stream around obviously how apprenticeships are funded through the government, or in some cases if it's, you know, if you've got levy payers or non-levy payers. I'm going to talk a little bit around obviously how that impacts and affects per partners, and then where we go from here really. So you know, hopefully if there's any questions that we can answer as we go through, but really sort of what hopefully you can take away from the session today, and hopefully how we can support going forward. So our engagement team within Lifetime, so we've got obviously myself, I've introduced myself to you. We've got Jackie Green, who's our partnership consultant, so she heads up our whole team obviously within Lifetime across the whole of Green King, so that obviously includes every aspect of the business. We've got Rachel Mortimer, who's our partnership associate, so she does a lot of our sort of reporting and picks up sort of a lot of our collateral and our information around obviously that side of the business. And then we've also got some key account managers as well in the business that support with coming out and sort of speaking to teams and actually sort of answering any questions. They'll come and sort of do team meetings, so things like that that we can actually pick up and support with the apprenticeships that we actually offer. So that's a little bit of an understanding of what our team do. We're all here to be able to support around our apprenticeship offer and any questions that you may have obviously yourselves, but also more importantly for your teams as well. So hopefully that gives a little bit of an understanding there. So the apprenticeship offer itself, so what do we offer? So some of you, I know Sean, it's great, you're a huge advocate for apprenticeships, and I'm really excited to hear your story in a little bit later on. But for those of you that perhaps aren't aware of the apprenticeships that we have on offer, we do have a programme for every single role that you'll have within your business, whether it's front of house or back of house. So we have level 2 all the way up to level 5, so ranging from different roles in the business. So you've got front of house and back of house team members through to sort of team leader, assistant manager, and I appreciate sometimes the roles might be called slightly different things, but those roles or varying roles in the business. So we've got the food and beverage level 2 qualification, which is a fantastic level 2 programme for your front of house teams. So that's for sort of your waiting and your bar staff. We've also got a particular licensed retail programme as well, which is a little bit more sort of bespoke. So all of our programmes have different pathways that you can actually go down, in particular based on your relevant job role. So whilst you've got one qualification, you can then look at different facets within that particular qualification to actually really tailor it to your particular job role within the business, which is fantastic. We've then got for our budding back of house chefs, so we've got 2 great programs there, the production and also the senior production chef level 3, which is a fantastic qualification and program for all of your back of house teams, really showcasing all the different kind of areas of the back of house functions, so ranging opening and closing the kitchen to really understanding, you know, sort of the temperature checks, all the probing, and all the sort of health and safety aspects. And going into the level 3 program, it goes into a lot more detail around the sort of the governance and the real sort of understanding of managing and running that kitchen operation. We've then got conferencing and banqueting level 2. So those of you that have maybe got sort of hotels or function rooms attached to your sites, there are specific, again, level 2 qualifications and programs that can really tailor to that side of the business. The same with housekeeping and the same with reception as well. So whichever areas you've got within your sites that, you know, based on their job role, they can actually do a qualification that's tailored and relevant to that particular role that they do. All the apprenticeship programs that we do are all delivered on site, so there's no day release college, there's no going to meet your coach anywhere else. We have all of our dedicated coaches that will come out to your site, so it's really right and relevant that the qualification they do is based on their job role. Sometimes we have people say, oh, can I do a level 4 in hotel or hospitality management, but they're a team member that works perhaps behind the bar, so that wouldn't be relevant for them because they're not in that particular job role. So, but that's where we can have a real detailed conversation around their you know, their career aspirations, where they want to perhaps go down the line in terms of what would be the right and relevant program for them. And that's where we can come in and we can really sort of have that, you know, expertise conversation around, you know, where do we want to go with this particular team member, and you know, as yourselves, we would absolutely involve you in that conversation. Then we've got obviously the level 3, 4 and 5, so very much looking at kind of the management aspect, and that's really looking at kind of the managerial side of running a business, but also looking at that kind of business acumen. So there's a lot more sort of written work and kind of more there's practical elements within that, but it's a lot more kind of theory based around looking at that kind of real sort of business side of what you're doing in terms of running your own empire, really. So those programs can really be tailored to your relevant role that you actually do in terms of running your business. So that gives you a bit of a whistle-stop tour of all the apprenticeships that we have on offer. But the main thing really, just to kind of really reiterate the point around, you know, whatever the job role you have within your business or your teams have within your business, there really is something there for everyone. And that's the really key thing, that we want to be able to offer something for everyone within your business to be able to do an apprenticeship, learn and develop whilst they're working, you know, and earning a wage, and sort of improving their own sort of career development, but also improving sort of your own staffing team as well, which is what it's all about. Okay, so a little bit around the benefits to the apprentice. So why would we do an apprenticeship, you know, or why would an individual do an apprenticeship? In terms of what an actual apprenticeship is, so an apprenticeship itself is an accredited qualification. It's a nationally recognised qualification. So anybody that does an apprenticeship programme, they are gaining a nationally recognised qualification. They can take that anywhere they want to go. So it's not a particular Green King thing. It's actually a nationally recognised programme, which is obviously fantastic to be able to have as their own individual development, and also to sort of have on their CV as part of what their own sort of development skills have been. The 3 main key areas of all the apprenticeships we deliver are looking at skills, knowledge and behaviour. So everything that we do, we're running that theme all the way through the programme itself. So looking at what knowledge the individual has, looking at what skills they can actually achieve from it, but also looking at the behaviours. The behaviours is a really big one, because within hospitality, we know that it's very much around behaviours. It's very much around giving those guests that come in the front door that real quality experience to make them want to come back. So those behaviours is a really key and big thing, and that's a lot of what individuals do get from the apprenticeship themselves. A lot of people come into this industry wanting to be able to kind of you know, do a really good job, but they're quite shy. Sometimes they may be quite young, and that, you know, they really want to kind of upskill and get their confidence, and that's something that the apprenticeship really can do. In terms of the apprenticeship programme itself, it's very flexible. The delivery we do is very, very flexible. So all the sessions that we have with the individuals are always agreed several weeks in advance. So the flexibility is very much there. It's not always necessary 2 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon. It's very much around, what suits the individual in life. And there are sometimes times where, you might have to just sort of park your what you're doing with your program, and that's okay. So that flexibility and that ownership is really, really there, and we will support them every step of the way. Maths and English functional skills. There are maths and English in every apprenticeships that is delivered, not just with Lifetime, but any training provider. And the reason for that is maths and English are two key functions that you need in everyday life. So it's really, really important that anyone doing an apprenticeship programme has got a certain level and understanding of maths and English to ensure that they're able to, to sort of put that into practice. If, for example, the tills went down, what would they do? If they needed to kind of go back to good old-fashioned pen and paper, it's just making sure they're able to sort of do enough to ensure that that they can actually get by with that element of English and math. So, and some people perhaps didn't do so well at school, so they've maybe come into this industry and they want to perhaps improve on their English and maths, and this is a really, really great way to be able to do that, because what a level 2 programme will do, it gives them the equivalent to 5 GCSEs at grade A to C, or the number equivalent, which I know is obviously a little bit different now in terms of those higher numbers, so 8s, 9s, 7, 8s, 9s, 10s. So you're looking at that kind of equivalent, and for the level 3 you're looking at 2 A levels at grade A to C. So if you haven't maybe done so well at school and then you go down the route of doing an apprenticeship, those maths and English elements are a fantastic way to be able to really sort of enhance that. Additional learning support. Some people go into the apprenticeship programme journey a bit nervous and a bit worried about whether they've maybe got some additional support they might need. We've got loads of different resources that we can really support. So if anyone has got dyslexia or dyspraxia or challenges with attention or different styles of learning, we can absolutely tailor the individual's learner journey for them. It's really important that it's a unique learning journey. So you could have 2 or 3 people on an apprenticeship programme doing the same apprenticeship, but each of their journeys should and will be very, very different, because it's tailored very much for what suits and works them. Everybody's learning styles are very, very different, so we don't want to ever put anyone into a certain box and make them feel that they're being taught in the same way like you perhaps do at school, which is why sometimes for school it doesn't always work for them. Upskilling and being motivated. So people want to be able to come to work and feel that they're learning new things, they're learning sort of new knowledge, skills and behaviours as well, and being motivated to do a good job. None of us want to go to work and do a rubbish job, so hopefully as well our apprentices that we have on programme do feel more motivated, they're learning more and they feel more of a valued member of the team, and that's really, really important to make them feel that way. And proven stats that we've had sort of along the way, we've always sort of seen that motivation performance always goes up massively with doing an apprenticeship, so that's a really, really big benefit. So moving on to the benefits of the benefits to you. So as Shaw mentioned before, actually the national insurance contributions, absolutely, that is a massive benefit hugely to anyone under the age of 25. There is no national insurance contributions, and there's a little grid there on the side just to give you a little bit of an understanding as to, depending on what salary you're on, you can understand there what the savings could be per year. It's huge. So if you've got someone that's earning between sort of 20 and 25,000 pounds a year, they're on an apprenticeship and £3,000, which is phenomenal. So it's a really, really fantastic benefit to you as a business, which is great. The £1,000 incentive, again, all apprentices under the age of 24 again do get a £1,000 incentive payback, which again is another fantastic benefit to you as a business. So anything where you can get some money back and some sort of incentive payments back is a really, really fantastic tool to be able to sort of promote to you as a business, really. Retention is a massive thing. I spoke a little bit before about sort of motivation and having people feeling valued and feeling like they're being given an opportunity to sort of really upskill and have that development piece. It's proven that people that go onto an apprenticeship programme are more likely to stay within the business because they are feeling more valued, they are doing something they want to do to develop themselves but also their career, and therefore they are more likely to stay with you for longer. So for you in your business, that retention piece is massive, and that's a really, really key driver in what we do, and it's something that we like to sort of shout about a lot. So that's definitely a really, really good benefit. Succession planning. So when you're looking at your teams, you know, and where they want to go, if you're looking at that development piece in terms of progressing them into, you know, sort of promotional roles, that's a really, really great tool to be able to use the apprenticeship programs to say, well, you're on your level 2 now, we're looking at a team leader position for you, so actually we can then look at you going on to the level 3 thereafter. So that succession planning is a really, really big benefit to you to use the apprenticeship development piece around that. Motivated team, as I mentioned before, and knowledgeable. You know, your teams are going to be more knowledgeable. They're going to know more. They're going to, you know, and that's only going to improve the benefits around your business and being more productive, and hopefully bringing more people through the front door to have that wonderful and fantastic experience within your sites. So I mentioned before, obviously, about the apprenticeship guidance and great collateral. So we do have a pub partners guide. Just wanted to give you a little bit of a screenshot of some of those things. Hopefully some of you may well have seen this, but some of you may not. So for those of you that aren't aware, we do a fantastic guide where it talks a lot around sort of adding that benefit to the apprenticeships, how that adds that, you know, benefit to your business, how they work, a bit of myth busting in there, what the programs are. We've got sort of fact sheets in there behind obviously those pages as well that you can actually download, so you can see a little bit more detail as to what's actually involved. There's a little bit also around the recruitment service that we offer that I'm going to come on to in a moment, and also a little bit around setting up your TAS account, which is where it talks about obviously where you know, that contribution payment is on there. So, and a little bit more around obviously the apprenticeship delivery, and a bit around App10, which is the system that we use to actually get people you know, that they use that to actually deliver their program. So our coaches use that, and then the individuals can actually go onto that as well. So that's a little around obviously the guide. So the apprenticeship recruitment piece. So we offer a free recruitment service whereby we can support with any vacancies that you have within your business, and we can fill them with an apprentice. So we currently have around 8,000 applicants coming through lifetime per month, which is phenomenal. It's a huge amount of applicants. What we struggle with is trying to get them placed, which some of you may find as a bit of a surprise, some maybe not, but it's a fantastic position to be in terms of having those that actually do want jobs within the industry. So it's a complimentary service that we offer. So we have a full dedicated team that work solely on Greene King. So I work really, really closely with them. In terms of a bit of a benefit to you, there is a huge cost saving for recruitment. We know, I'm sure you'd be the first to say that there is a huge cost around recruitment and getting people, the right people into your business. So using us as a supporting tool can definitely save you a fair bit of money, obviously, around those recruitment costs. Again, the retention piece, it can definitely support with that. There's just a couple of small caveats that you just need to be mindful of. You need to make sure that the individuals are doing a minimum of 16 hours per week to go onto the programme. So ideally with an recruited apprentice, we do look to have them going on for slightly longer, some sort of more hours, but ideally they need to be doing obviously the 16 as an absolute minimum. Mental support, we'd need to make sure that you're providing some support there, obviously from within, which you do with any new member of staff that obviously comes on to, you know, to work in your business. The main thing is that you do maintain 100% control in your business. So we do obviously offer this service, and it's very much a simple case of you letting us know when you've got the vacancies. We would screen and source out some people for you. We'd then share them with you. You would then interview them, and then obviously if you want to take them on, you would take them on. It's as simple as that. So you do have a lot of control along the way. All we're trying to do is just get those people in front of you in the first instance. So hopefully that that is music to your ears, and that would be a good thing for you to be able to use and have support within your businesses. So a little bit around the 5% contribution. So some of you may be aware that pub partners within Greene King, they are what we call a non-levy side of the business. So what that basically means, you are sort of a small to medium enterprise within your business in its own right, and therefore you do have to pay a small contribution of 5% of the programme cost. So the government do still cover 95% of that. So it is only a very sort of small contribution of the programme. So for example, if you're looking at a level 2 programme, you're looking at between sort of £2,000 and £3,000, you would pay only 5% of that contribution. But if you think about the incentive payments that we were talking about earlier and the national insurance contribution savings that you get, you can very quickly work out that actually it kind of outweighs the contribution you'll have paid for. So that's hopefully something that wouldn't put people off. It's very, very simple to set the TAS account up. All you would need to do is have your own TAS account set up. We would go through that with you and definitely hold your hand the way through that to make sure it's set up correctly. You can pay up front for the qualifications, or you would do it in instalments. It's entirely up to you. But either way, you can track everything through your own individual account. And then obviously that's all done through our finance department as well. So we would work on that obviously together with you, so we can absolutely support and help, and help you get that account set up. So for those of you that got people on programme, I'm sure would agree with me that it is a very, very simple and straightforward way to set that up. So hopefully that again would make people feel a bit more confident in how to use that process. Next steps really, I guess from now on really is obviously if anyone's got any questions, we'll come on to that in a moment, but really go back and talk to your teams, have a think about if you've got any vacancies, speak to your teams around obviously what their development needs may be. If you've got hopefully people that you're thinking already, yeah, maybe so and so might want to do that, or I've got some people in mind that maybe would consider that development opportunity. Once we've obviously got those, those people sort of potentially in the wings waiting to come on programme, we just need to get that TAS account set up if you haven't already got it, and then away we go, and we can sort of get those enrolments put on programme and support them through their learner journey. So that's really kind of a little bit of a sort of a whistle stop tour around obviously what we can do going forward. So yeah, I mean, we'll go on to some, I'll stop sharing my screen in a minute, but one of the things I did want to just mention, it is actually National Apprenticeship Week this week, so I was hoping we could potentially get a bit of a screenshot and a bit of a picture with us all, and then just see if anyone's got any questions at all. As oh, sure.
Just a quick one. There is some discussion in the press at the moment about relaxing the rules on the foundation skills for English and maths. The people we recruit in our industry come straight from school. They come very often with a low level of confidence and low self-esteem. And part of the whole process of obviously engaging with them in our industry is to build up that confidence. And what I always describe to the learners is this is a roadmap for your future, and then you can actually show them where these various qualifications will actually lead to, so that you want to kind of clear the decks for the perception about it being a dead-end job. That it's a complex job. It has lots of opportunities, and it's kind of unraveling that for them. So I think, in fact, the government's proposals to relax some of the English and maths requirements is probably a very good move, because we then will be able to tailor it to our industry.
So yeah, there is definitely a lot of noise at the moment, and announcements being made around the functional skills, and having that. There's definitely, that can sometimes be a challenge around obviously getting people through the English and maths. So with the relaxation of some of those rules and things that we can kind of work around, so people still get an element of English and maths within what they're trying to do, but having it a little bit more relaxed and actually working to what is relevant for them within their job role, and making them feel that they're making a difference and they're actually achieving something really, really strong in a fantastic industry, that is definitely going to support and help. So that's definitely something that we're really excited. There's been a lot of talk around it over the last sort of few weeks and months. So to have that sort of start to really come to life now is going to make a huge difference to all of our learners on programmes. So yeah, really, really good point you've made there. And like you say, making people feel that they are in, a fantastic job in a great industry, and it's not, making people feel it's not just a job, it's a career, it's a fantastic choice of that development route as to what they want to go down within what they're doing. So yeah, really good point, Sean.
Just one other point, in terms of retention, my longest serving member of staff is now 26 years old, and she joined me from school. That's a member of staff who's on an apprenticeship, a graduate apprenticeship, but the shortest is 4 years. We were just looking the other day, and that's extremely unusual in our industry. And what we've tried to sort of say is that we are a training pub, and I think more pubs need to adopt that kind of attitude, that we're here to train you. So we are going to put something into you, which will be returned. And I think the industry needs to look at this very, very closely. You know, with long-term retention comes increased profits. And it's not rocket science.
No, it's not. It's not. Absolutely, Sean. You're absolutely right. I think that's, yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. It's wonderful. Your passionate enthusiasm, Sean, is just, yeah, infectious. It's wonderful to hear. Thank you for sharing that with us. Has anybody else got any questions before I'll hand obviously back over to Sam?
Can I ask you a quick one, Mel, if that's all right?
Yes, of course, James. Hi.
You're right. Yeah, just gonna quickly ask, out of those, you're saying about those 8,000 applicants for apprentices per month. Is there a, do you know what proportion, how that splits out in terms of people looking for front of house apprenticeships or back of house apprenticeships? Is there like a kind of clear divide there, or?
Not necessarily. It's interesting because a lot of people that do sort of come through our books, a lot of them are very, very open to either. Some are very, very, I want to be a chef, or I absolutely want to be front of house, definitely. I wouldn't know off the top of my head what proportion that would be, but I do also know it's not necessarily a hard and fast, I want to be front of house, I want to be this, or I mean, some are very, very clear, absolutely. But also when we start having those conversations with the individuals around, you know, what they might want to perhaps do, we'll talk around, you know, have you considered this, have you thought about that? Especially probably more with the younger ones that are maybe a bit unsure as to what they know they want to be in this industry, but they're not really too sure what that really means, what it feels like, what it looks like. So when we start having those more sort of detailed conversations, and a part of the screening process, we do have a lot more kind of conversations around the industry, their understanding, or maybe their lack of understanding, so we can really kind of coach them as to, you know, what to expect, even sort of basic things to perhaps you and I around the hours and the fact that the hospitality industry is 24/7. It's not a Monday to Friday thing. So, you know, making sure they're aware that actually if they're working, you know, in this industry, then they're likely to be working evenings and weekends as well as some day shifts, that there's a you know, variation. So it's just sort of giving them that understanding really around, you know, what they're walking into potentially, and what they would want to maybe go in and sort of explore. And sometimes, you know, so we've had sort of people going into sites and they're thinking, oh, I want to be I really want to be a chef, and they've kind of given that a go and they're like, oh, actually I kind of quite like going out the front. I like having that, you know, my confidence is actually far greater than I perhaps thought it was, and I want to be out front, or I'm, you know, my talents are maybe, you know, wasted doing this, but I want to go and do that, or it might be the other way around. So it's not until we have those really, really sort of granular conversations that we really start sort of, you know, pulling out what would be a really, really sort of good shout for them. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of flexibility, and the volume that we have coming through, yeah, the possibilities really are endless.
Awesome.
But yeah, great question. Yeah,
thanks for that.
Does that help?
Yeah, definitely.
Details on there, and then you can there we go, and then if anyone wants to take those down or take a screenshot of it, you can do, and by all means, you know, I'm more than happy to sort of be your kind of sort of direct go-to contact for you, and then obviously I've got the team around me as well. So if you want us to come in and have a chat with your teams, we're more than happy to do that. Yeah, whichever's easiest really. If you want to sort of go away and have a chat with your teams, have a think about it, reflect what you need from me, whether it's today or down the line, then please do just let me know.
So just to wrap the session up then, thank you so much, Mel, for that. That was really good and insightful. Sean, I'd like to just come over to you. Obviously an advocate of apprenticeships, you've already told us how many team you've got doing apprenticeship. So what has that meant for you as a business?
There's been quite staggering growth in terms of our turnover. We've been doing this now for 12 years. So training is actually compulsory with us. It does send out a very, very clear message to everybody that, you know, we see it as a career. It's not, you know, just working in a pub. So the benefits have been enormous. I've been asked many times in terms of profitability, how do you turn that into profit? Well, there aren't any equations. The only thing I would say is the longevity, the fact that I don't have issues, for instance, with dishonesty and that sort of thing, because, you know, we've got such a focused and invested team. And I just think this could be replicated right across the country. I really do. I think, you know, Green King pubs could be like the John Lewis of retail.
That's great. Thank you so much, Sean, for that. Really appreciate that. Has anybody else got any additional questions that they'd like to ask? Wonderful. So with that, I'll then conclude.
Before you go, I'm very, very happy to meet anybody. If anybody wants to trek their way down to Pinner, which is not too far from Watford, very happy to talk to anybody from leased and tenanted, franchised or whatever about training and meet some of our teams.
Thank you, Sean. That's really kind.